for this part of the video, I figured it was best described than read, but we had a bear get in and get our goats. This happened at 4 in the morning. I guess I should say first off, these are our neighbor's goats, and they got attacked first. So they had 6 goats, now they had 5. And then 4 days later we had the big snowstorm which caved in their roof. So we took them on as a kindness until they can fix that roof. But this is our larger, more secure pen. You can see it's got the thick bars, a bear's not getting through it. And we have the quality horse fencing on the top there. It doesn't look pretty, but it's kept, we put this up when we had a problem with mountain lions initially. So this pen is pretty much the bear-proof pen. But because we had these guys come in to stay with us, I moved my girls over to the baby pen over here, which has the simple welded wire fencing that I would never recommend anybody use for goats because they can rub on it and they end up weakening it. But this is where the bear climbed. This fence was straight and it's bent there now, so it climbed up. There's actually hair from the bear there, and it pretty much climbed around on the top of this thing until it found the little gap there by the big tree. But anyway, 4 a.m. my husband flies out of bed, and I just wake up at that point, ask what's up, and he's like, the goats are screaming. So he comes out here and he can tell something big is running around in this pen, and he runs back, he ran out without a light, so he grabbed a headlamp and his handgun, came back and fired at the bear a couple times, which scared it up that big aspen tree there. And at which point I finally had come out with the big hand light, and my husband instructed me to shine the light on him while he went to go get his bigger guns, his rifles. And so I stood there watching the bear kind of stomping around to make noise, because anytime it got quiet he started thinking about coming down. By the way, if you're curious as to what Caprice has around her neck, we caught her self-nursing, and this is just a DIY that has taken care of the problem where she cannot self-nurse, and we can have milk for bottle feeding the babies. But anyway, he grabbed his rifles, took aim, and it took a couple shots to get the bear to fall down. It was still breathing at that point. My husband was going to go in the pen to get a clear shot at the head, but I just told him, no way, you just take a shot where he's at. Because where he fell kind of underneath the platforms there, so he couldn't quite see his head, but you could, his body was in clear view. And just fired off a few more rounds, and that was it for the bear. When we got into the pen, one of the little babies, we had a little tan buckskin that was just laying on the ground screaming, and there was no helping it. The bear had crushed its spine, so it couldn't even use its back legs at all. And so we had to humanely euthanize that little baby, who was supposed to go home to its new home this weekend, the following weekend. So I had to let the new owners know what happened and gave them the option to pick from one of these 2 girls. Then I noticed inside their shelter over there, I won't go in there now, but there was a big blood splat, so I knew that wasn't from the baby, because the baby didn't really have any blood on it. The bear more so crushed her. And that's when I noticed Roka had blood all over her backside. So we lost the baby goat, and then the bear did get Roka as well in her udder. She had a couple punctures around her neck where it had grabbed her, and a couple punctures on her hindquarters. And it was a pretty good chunk. I don't know if she'll turn around. I plan on doing a separate video with her recovery story. She's got the jacket on right now because she was having trouble with the cooler temperatures and was shivering. And this was a jacket I just happened to buy her for when we were traveling, which we haven't got to do yet, so it finally came in handy. But called the vet and had the vet come out the same day. Hi, girl. And she just gave antibiotics and some pain meds, trimmed up the wound, and just gave me some instructions. She had the brilliant idea of using my daughter's diapers as a bandage for the back of her udder so that it didn't get dirty and nasty. And that worked great. We did that for the first 3 days, and now we've stopped using the diapers so she can air out. And now it's just the waiting game. We did her last antibiotic shot today. It's still pretty deep wound back there that hasn't completely dried. We are drying her up though, so as her udder begins to shrink up, we're hoping that takes hold before the antibiotics are all gone. She still has some pain meds. But the vet has high hopes for her, and she should make it. And so far, so good. She is eating, she's drinking. She still plays the queen bee card and will bully Caprice around if she comes near her pen. We put her in this little pen here so that she'll lay in the dirt if she can. And we want to obviously keep that wound clean. So we made a little hospital pen here to keep her udder more clean so grass and stuff isn't getting into it. And then at night we bring her in and she sleeps in a big dog crate with fresh bedding again, so we've got a nice sterile environment for her. And she's turning around now, but it still looks pretty nasty back there. Girl, I know, we'll take you out in a little bit. And about when the vet was finishing up with Roca is when Dow or DOW came out to get the bear. We had our neighbors who had already dealt with the bear previously and been in touch with Division of Wildlife call them, and they came out here several hours later to come pick up the bear. We had several neighbors beforehand come and want to get pictures of the bear. But I'm glad that the problem is gone. The bear is gone. It still makes me nervous at night. I still sit there and listen for the goats, even though it's calm, just thinking maybe there's another bear. But so far, it's been nice and quiet. Hoping that our neighbors get their goat pen fixed up here soon so that we can get all these guys in the more secure pen and I can relax a little bit about their safety. But that about does it for this video. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.